Your day starts out mundane enough, delivering a bloody piece of the tumour to some stodgy researchers at the university. You walk through the halls, getting all manner of confused and dirty looks, until you arrive at the door of one Professor Haltrip, foremost researcher of organic alchemy, or so you were told by the front desk. "Do come in!" You hear a gruff voice on the other side of the door. Inside you find an old quattrel, made even smaller by a hunched back. He is rooting around his messy office, looking for something. When he sees you, a look of disgust crosses his face, but once you produce the tumour piece, his eyes go wide with amazement. You explain the whole situation, the disappearances, the burnings, the black sludge, the earthquakes, and the tumour. You explain that there are other tumours out there, used in some nefarious unknown plot, and then the professor sits silently in thought for an uncomfortably long amount of time. "Well then," he finally starts, "we'll need to get this to my lab with all haste. There we should be able to run some tests to figure out what it is composed of, its various signature alchemical compositions. Once we know that, then maybe we can come up with some way to track the others down." You hand the tumour off to him, and then, because you have no other leads, you wait in his office for what feels like hours, staring at his disorganized assortment of books, papers, and dirty bottles of foul-smelling liquid. Then, very suddenly, your boring day becomes a lot more interesting. Haltrip bursts back into his office, his face spattered with blood. "Something has gone horribly wrong in the lab!" he screams at you, and then he races down the hall much faster than you would have thought possible. You follow, and he points you to a room overgrown with bloody growths, several dead lab assistants, and a swarm of rats, which the growths must have morphed into monstrosities. "It's going to keep spreading!" Haltrip frets. "Do something, please!" Your weapon and face are covered in streaks of black and red, the various viscera of a number of creatures you never imagined you would have to fight before today. Your left eye twitches a little. "Well then," you hear a familiar gruff voice behind you. "This is quite the mess, and the loss of my students is a horrible tragedy." Haltrip trails off, staring into nowhere with a forlorn look, until his eyes pass down to his hands. In them is a flat, smooth stone, covered in a sticky green film. "But not all is bad news," he mutters. "Based on our tests, and the violent reaction the tumour had to that last one especially, I was able to develop a method for sensing when this particular type of organic matter is near." He hefts the stone in his hand. "That is what the green glow is." He gives you each a slimy stone of your own, and you spend the next several hours splitting up and scouring the streets of the city, trying to locate more of the growths. In the end, you pinpoint two locations, an abandoned set of buildings in the sinking market and a warehouse at the old docks. With any luck, Roland is holed up in one of these places, and you can put an end to all of this.